investors.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to Al in Homosassa. Hey, Al, what's going on?
Isn't it wonderful? This gentleman here with the gold report, right before the market fell apart, ended up with PAAS. We had a 98% gain in a year. And, you weren't 99% proof like Irish whiskey, but we had a good gain there. You always told us to do what we feel comfortable with. And if I lose a little bit of money on the table, I will, but I know that I just pocketed $8,000 or $9,000 in 2 weeks.
That's a beautiful thing, man.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
What's going on, everyone? This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. I hope you all had a good day off yesterday. It is always hard to switch gears right at the end of the week that way, but that is fine. We have some stuff to look at today. Let's take a look just to begin with the SPY. Okay, you're off 1.26% at 582. Some pretty substantial movement to the downside today. I think we're at 2-month lows here. Give me a second here. Yeah, so we're reaching right back that November kind of 6 area. And remember, this is kind of what we're talking about. Can this hold that 580 level? Today it did kind of reject it a little bit. If this can move off, right, the rest of the day doesn't crack a little bit lower, I think we probably move back and attempt to do 600, at least in the SPY, because it seems like it has this kind of consolidation pattern right now. But you have a lot of stuff going on right now in the market that is kind of bringing this down a little bit. The jobs numbers being so strong and unemployment remaining, relatively steady, while to, I think, kind of the common person, that sounds great. Oh, fantastic. People are getting jobs. People aren't losing them, but this is not what the Fed is trying to do. Obviously, they look, at least for some increase in unemployment, to kind of cut in to inflation, essentially, right? Kind of strange, but it's how it works. And so that's very strong. Those are strong numbers, the non-farm payroll and unemployment rate. And what that kind of suggests is that you're not getting any more rate cuts from the Fed, at least in the upcoming meeting. And of course, the market is looking for that because capital is cheaper and people can build out and there's more gains to be made. So you're getting kind of this exit of, from equities to some extent, right? And you think, okay, so we go into, areas such as, like gold, for instance, right? Where we can kind of hedge ourselves against potential inflation, and, just a loss in holding equities, but you're barely even seeing that. it is up 1%. That is good, right? We're moving off from that like 2,600 area. We're at 2,717. But it's, you look at the miners, they're not doing anything. GDX is up 0.17%. I'm taking a look at some of our other ones. Take a look at Agnico Eagle. It's up 3% on there. I'm taking a look at VGZ as well. That's completely sideways. So, I don't know if gold can, if we keep exiting out of equities, right? And inflation stays a little bit stronger, you would like to see kind of a shift sector-wise into things like gold. And maybe you're kind of seeing that a little bit right now. It's pretty much too early to tell, I would say. But it just seems like there's not really anything stellar going on right now. So you have the SPY off 1.32% at 581. You have the composite off about 1.39% at 19,207. The Dow Jones Industrial off about 1.45% at 42,016. And that Russell is off bigly, as they would say, off about 2.23% at 2,203. The dollar exceptionally strong, up at 109.67, almost cracked 110 earlier today. And crude, wow. What a movement to the upside, especially for just a commodity that has been slumbering for quite a long time. You're trading right now up 76 at 76.60, up about 3.63%. Now, of course, you have some information. We had just imposed massive sanctions on Russian oil. Of course, oil isn't flowing through Ukraine any longer. Prices surpassing $80 a barrel. I mean, this is throwing a lot of wrenches into things. Additionally, especially with things like natural gas, you get it moving up because we're having cold issues going on here in America. You have some of the natural gas bosses, essentially. We'll talk about all of this kind of stuff later in the show. But saying they need to basically increase the amount of money they receive in order to produce more natural gas. At least this is with shale. And if you want to go even further, it needs to be far higher. I think it's something around 466 or 10% more. And that's just to cue greater production of this kind of stuff. So you're getting some kind of like supply restrictions, at least in that realm. Obviously with crude, you definitely are, especially considering what's going on with the Russian sanctions. So you have crude oil up 3.68% at 76.64. The gold contract up 0.97% at 2,716. You have copper taking a little bit of a breather today, off about 0.42% at $4.29 on that contract. Of course, you have silver as well, up 0.94% at 31.30. Your bonds yields are climbing. Let's see what I got for you here on that. I think we're at like 4.7 or something. 4.77 in the 10-year. You're at over 5 in the 20-year, and then right under 5 at 4.96 in the 30-year. And again, it's this concept that you're going to have, rates higher for longer. The inflation is still there. You have inflationary pressures coming in to the market, especially with Trump about to be inaugurated. I think I'm not probably going to enter into any positions. And that's sort of like smaller companies I'm expecting just to kind of, run due to whatever sector they're in, right? Like I'm looking at OPTX for that. But generally probably don't want to be like too active right now. I'm in cash for the most part, except for like my major holdings that I have in my personal account. And I just kind of want to wait to see what happens with Trump. There's discussion, there's some leak going on that he's going to use the emergency powers, which allows the executive branch, or really just the president, to have complete control over imports to the U.S. While that, is active. So, and I'm not even sure he's going to do it, but the problem is that nobody's sure what's going to happen, and I just don't want to play some kind of losing end here. I mean, tomorrow in the SPY, you can get a reversal of what's going on, and we traverse back up to maybe, 58.5 or 58.6, trying to get up, back to 600. So, I don't know. I'm not making any, major plays right now, at least in, the Magna market. Take a look at Disney. They're off 0.8%. You have Celsius getting smoked, off 7.07%. Let's see. JPM off 1.28. Lucid up 2.52. You have Meta up 1.49. Tesla, they released actually a new style to the Model Y. They're trying to kind of revamp the appeal for it. This is kind of crazy. They're using the robo-taxi design, but at least in China, which is where this new model is active, they're selling it conversion cost. Now, obviously, you have to pay for renminbi if you're over there, but it's 35,000 USD. If that's true here, that could be pretty good for them. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstad's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstad releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. Before we went to the break, I think we were just discussing Tesla a little bit. Revamped Model Y, at least in China, it's USD equivalent $35,000, which is a pretty good price. Let's talk a little bit just about what the BLS report was for employment. So basically, it increased. Oh, here, I'll just pull it over here. Yes, total non-farm payroll employment increased 256,000 in December. I think they were looking at like 210 or something along those lines. And the unemployment rate changed little at 4.1%. Employment trended up in healthcare, government, and social assistance. Retail trade added jobs in December following a job loss in November. You'll probably get some decrease in that going forward as well, of course, during the holiday season. And that gets adjusted, of course, but still. See, the unemployment rate changed at 4.1% in December after increasing earlier in the year. The unemployment rate has been either 4.1% or 4.2%. Among the major worker groups, the unemployment rate for whites, okay, you can read that if you want to. Among the unemployed, the number of permanent job losers, this is important as well, declined by 164,000 to 1.7 million in December, but is a little different from a year earlier. The number of people on temporary layoff at 862,000 changed little over the month and over the year. Number of long-term unemployed changed little at 1.6 million, but is up 278,000 from the year earlier. Participation rate, 62.5%, unchanged. Yeah, these are always important to kind of look at this. And it is crazy how much, in healthcare kind of makes sense, right? You have this massive kind of aging population and everything. I mean, it's kind of, I think, be a little bit expected as well. Government is interesting too, adding, I would like to see which kind of jobs in government are expanding. And as much as people talk about like the Doge, whatever it is, department or just special task force, they probably aren't going to really cut that much because it's just so difficult to attack like bureaucratic behemoths like this. But healthcare added 46,000 jobs in December with gains in home healthcare services, nursing and residential care facilities, hospitals. Yeah, so I mean, you know, taking care of the aging population are really the ones that grew, but that's kind of to be expected, and I think that probably should continue to happen. Healthcare added an average of 57,000 jobs. Wow. In 2024, retail trade up 43,000, government trend up 33,000, average of 37,000 jobs per month, social assistance, etc. But yeah, if you ever want to read this kind of stuff, when you just hear like the headlines, because it always kind of, in my opinion, kind of sucks just reading things from like Yahoo or AP or something along those lines. You just go to BLS.gov and they have everything. You just Google it, BLS.gov, job numbers or whatever, and it should come up, and that's always the best way to kind of get your data. So yeah, I mean, strong, resilient economy. I mean, adding that many jobs, again, I think they were looking for 210,000 or something like that. So I mean, extraordinarily strong compared to those estimates. You're not going to get rate cuts on that. I think we do get into a realm where you start discussing higher rates, and that really can just kind of tank this whole thing. And I mean, you're looking at the bonds as well, and they're saying the same stuff, right? They seem to be less optimistic about everything, especially compared to the equity market, which seems to be kind of catching up to that sentiment, So it'd be hard to say, but I did read this really interesting article, and it's from Christopher Waller. He's a member of the Fed Board of Governors, and he actually does back new rate cuts, even with tariffs materializing, which is somewhat strange. He said he expects inflation to move closer to the 2% target in the coming months. And in some of the first comments by Fed officials, specifically about these tariffs, he said the greater import duties likely won't push up inflation this year. He said the bottom line message that I believe more cuts will be appropriate. Then he says, quote, if, as I expect, tariffs do not have a significant or persistent effect on inflation, they're unlikely to affect my view. Which is very interesting. He says, I believe inflation will continue to make progress toward our 2% goal over the medium term, and that the further rate reductions will be appropriate, which is unique because I really do think Trump is a relatively inflationary guy. I mean, even without, import tariffs, stuff like that, which no doubt will raise the price of things, at least like in a flat sense, right? I mean, tariffs always do that in a flat sense unless there's some other kind of mechanism he wants to employ on the back end there, right? Like, whatever. But point being is that I think he's actually going to gear up to be a kind of spending president, just like Biden was. I mean, you look at the Inflation Reduction Act, which wasn't, did not reduce inflation at all because you're increasing government spending. I think Trump likes that as well, right? Again, these are like some more like populist kind of approaches to some things. And he's discussed it as well. I mean, even talking about getting rid of the debt ceiling was somewhat interesting. Now, of course, that could be he wants to get rid of some of the tape that's included with that, right? But everything he does kind of points away from a fiscally conservative kind of, at least a conservative spender, I guess I could say, which is inflationary, 100%. Job market's still very high. I think you're seeing the price of like very basic goods very high. Energy is going to get more expensive. Housing gets this kind of lag, right? So, I mean, you might see the kind of like reduction in rents around, at least lodging, like not just houses, but like I think apartments and stuff like that. So that starts showing up and can become kind of deflationary in a sense, or at least, slows down in its increase. But I think you have a lot of stuff right now going on that is very inflationary. You have these massive freezes out in Texas, right? You have massive freezes out in the Midwest. You have the fires going on in California. So I don't know, listen, I mean, the guy's obviously on the board, right? So he knows more. He's more experienced than us, and certainly me. But it's just, I'm curious to see what kind of his logic is behind that and why he sees a reduction, Kind of interesting, nonetheless. So anyways, let's move on a little bit. Kind of want to talk quickly, at least, about WiseKey. Not much to say on it. It is up 55% today, trading at 1021. This is that, we talk about Seal Square quite a bit, or Seal SQ. WiseKey is basically that parent company on it. Seal SQ up only, marginally compared to WiseKey, still up 10% for the day at 575. And quite a march to the downside, as you can see, even on the yearly. But I mean, we could take this to the 3 months, and it just becomes a little bit more clear. Really nice run up to the $11, and then just a slow decrease. And this gets smacked pretty hard with this gap down, right here. Basically kind of going in line with when you had the general market kind of crack down as well. And it just didn't get too much appeal after that, right? However, it is up 8.82% today. Its parent company WiseKey is blowing up. So what is the point of this movement. I mean, I think what's going on is that they have their launch coming up on January 14th. So this idea is that they are basically going to send up satellites that will help in securing IoT devices, right? We've been speaking on here for quite a while about how IoT devices, one, they're a major security risk, and that makes them, at least in this kind of, era we're in, kind of ripe for investment, right? Meaning that you're gonna have all these new entrants coming in, we're placing AI on top of it. These things need to have security. We're gonna get more serious as a country about it. And so, you're getting a lot of capital flow into those things. And anyways, we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get back, and some other things like quantum as well.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
This market has turned red, Tigers, and the question we should be asking ourselves is how to position for a potential bear market. Plenty of gains can be made in bull markets, but if we've entered bearish territory, that strategy needs to change. So, how do we pivot so we can see green in the red? Join Larry this month, January 10th and 24th for live trading action. You'll sit next to Larry as he places live trades, explains his methodology, and answers questions live. Larry brings his decades of trading knowledge directly to you, teaching you how to navigate this shifting market. Go to the front page of TFNN.com today and secure your spot fast for live trading Fridays with Larry Pesavento. Happy New Year, Tigers. We'll see you January 10th and 24th. TFNN. Educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. Man, I gotta say, it has been freezing the past few days, and I woke up this morning, maybe around like 6:45, 7, I had fallen asleep with the window open, which I love during this time. I mean, it was like 47 something degrees, and it is now cooking at like 65 just throughout the day. And I don't know, and we must be getting some system coming through or something like that, but quite a drastic kind of change. I think the change of weather is always kind of strange, especially throughout the day. Let's take a look right now. We're looking at WiseKey. Oh, and before, how could I forget? Before I continue on, I wanted to say, because of course we just had the ad running for Larry Live. That is what I was doing this morning when I got into work. We had Larry Live. So again, strongly recommend checking this out. Larry had been calling for actually quite a while that we were at a top, right when we've been smacking up along that this level in the SPY up here. Okay, so you're trading at that 609, right about that 600 level. He'd been like, I don't know, guys. I think this is getting kind of strange. We're in the top. Of course, he has his technicals. He is also on at 1 p.m. Eastern time every day. So strongly recommend checking that out. He did trade today, had some nice trades as well. One of the things I want to say is, of course, we just had the first session for this month, but when you subscribe, let's say you do it today after the end of programming, you're going to get access to the one on the 24th. This is the second and fourth Friday of every month. And don't worry, it'll roll over into February as well, so you'll get to go to that first one in February. So again, this subscription is good for 2 sessions. We, of course, group them into months. So we do the second and fourth Friday of every month. Really recommend checking that out. That is from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time. It's great because you get to sit and watch him kind of trade. You get to ask him questions real time. He responds to them. And I think it's just it's a very good way if you're trying to learn how to trade, and especially when you're getting into this market that's kind of pivoting a little bit, right? As you heard in like in the ad, and I mean it, right? Even from my own experience, you know, you can make very good money in a bull market where everything's going green every day. You're making all-time highs in the SPY, et cetera, et cetera. You get a bunch of capital coming in. When things get a little bit freaky like they have, you know, that's when things like decades of experience come in handy and you know how to deal with it, right? So anyways, strongly recommend checking that out. It was a nice time. Today, again, that's from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time. Taking a look quickly just at WiseKey, just to finish up my thoughts on it, because I'm sure you guys have heard me speak about it, probably ad nauseum at this point. But trading up 58% right now at 1041. Of course, you have, honestly, on the monthly, kind of an interesting trading range, right? Trading pattern, at least. You get this kind of this low at $6, and then big movement up. Now, very volatile, of course, right? These are big bars. You either have very small bars or very large bars in either direction. But the catalyst right now is that they have a launch January 14th. That is from the Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. Interesting. Anyways, if that is successful, right? I mean, I think there's people buying in for it. If you get just like great headlines on this, right? Totally successful. They get it in. This company knows how to totally milk headlines. They do it all the time. They did it with CLSQ. You might get some nice run to the upside, of course. You're looking for that high of about $14. Again, that is going to be January 14th. So very much looking forward to that. Again, you know, that's next Tuesday. I like the post-quantum stuff, right? You just had this massive quantum bubble get popped immediately, really suddenly by Jensen Huang. But still, I think that there is catalyst for post-quantum encryption, okay? Just because you don't have this immediate threat right now of quantum attacks does not mean that you're not having these large bodies kind of build out to be resistant against it, right? I mean, you see Amazon and Meta and Apple even using dilithium and Kyber for encryption. And as I'm talking about the IoT, again, we're gonna get we're gonna get way more serious about cyber in these next few years, right? You're already getting, you know, ceased and developed. They're speaking about it, ripping out kind of Chinese hardware in our telecom systems. The IoT market is exploding and is really one of the largest attack surfaces on any kind of network. And as they start to play, as those devices start to play a more integral role in our society, especially saddled with AI, the encryption is going to need to come along. The security, rather, is going to need to beef up a little bit, right? And again, one of these ideas, and we could sit here and talk and be like, okay, just because a weapon isn't developed yet, the concept is there for it. It doesn't mean you don't try to defend yourself against it, right? This is a constant cat and mouse game. But what I think really drives this kind of home of why this is important and why this post-quantum cryptography is going to come in is because you have NIST, DoD, you have militaries in Europe. Everyone is gearing into post-quantum cryptography. And all those that aren't right now are going to probably be pushed into it if they want to do any kind of deals with the government or large companies. Again, one of another, a large attack surface for companies like Amazon or Microsoft or Target even, right? There's a famous kind of situation where Target was breached, their data and PII of their customers because one of their vendors wasn't doing things properly, right? And I think that's going to get a lot more serious, meaning the ramifications for not pushing your vendors and third parties into being compliant is going to be far, far more serious. So, as much as I'm still trying to make sense for myself of the whole satellite kind of realm, no doubt this is getting pushed quite a bit, especially with LEO. We've seen it with Starlink. We've seen it with China's, I think it's called like many sails or something like this. Low Earth orbits for IoT that are supposed to bring security to it, I think is very interesting. You have a market cap right now with WiseKey showing 0, which is not correct, and I'm not sure what's going on with Thinkorswim for that, but let me just kind of pull it up real quick. You're at 99 million market cap for WiseKey right now. It's kind of interesting. Look, and I mean, you type it in, you see these headlines everywhere for their post-quantum. I mean, they are really trying to push those headlines. And again, that's something you have to be cautious of, right? Because they're obviously trying to get the equity to move, and these guys are basically cheerleaders for the company, right? But still interesting. I would follow along with it. And then, of course, we can talk about QNCCF, that is Quantum Emotion, off 15.84% today. Again, they are doing another form of, let's just say, like Nouveau encryption, right? Which is quantum random number generation. I think a lot of people are getting hyped on it. They were, at least up until about today, or the trading session prior on Wednesday. Really, I think this was a quantum sympathy play more than anything else, because random number generation for encryption, again, is not supported by any kind of regulatory body. So that is something to keep in mind. And it's not even really clear if it works or not. So we can talk a little, well, we're going to the break right now, but we're going to talk and go over Qubit, IonQ, Rigetti. Wow, look at this destruction. This is what I've been saying. Okay, Qubit at a high of 27.15. You're trading at 8.85 right now. I don't think we're coming back in quantum for the time being. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds for both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Welcome back, everybody. Jacob Shoup, you're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. We got the last full segment here right now. Taking a look at Quantum Computing Incorporated. Again, not actually really a quantum computing company. Still kind of unreal that they are at 1.1 billion market cap wise. Again, was kind of anticipating at least, you know, after this drop, and maybe that's what this kind of body is here a little bit, at least in Qubit. But I was expecting at least some people trying to pile in and give others more exit liquidity, but it seems like it didn't. And someone actually did. One of my acquaintances actually did message me, and they were like, I'm adding more to IonQ and Rigetti right now. And I said, please do not do that. It is, so at least you're getting this you're kind of getting this dip buy, at least in IonQ, which I've been saying is probably the most legit one out of any of them, but still not anywhere. I'm actually surprised this is up right now. And it's on decent volume too. But you know, when you get earnings for this, it's kind of game over. And I wonder if Rigetti's going to be up today too. It might be if IonQ is. No, Rigetti's off 10.31%. So yeah, you're seeing that massive shakeout. IonQ, again, I've argued, is probably the most legit one out of all of them. I think they at least have a machine that they're using, but it's you know, it's not going to materialize in the near future, right? I am genuinely surprised IonQ is up right now, and I think that might be what it is, right? You had IonQ really take off with this, and people will say it's Willow, and maybe to some extent it was the Willow chip. But what really initiated this quantum buy was IonQ getting that contract with the Air Force Research Lab. I mean, that was cool, and again, we spoke about that. We got into that, at least I was talking about it. I got into it around these earnings. You can see it's been a nice movement up, and of course, Willow, yes, did add a ton of fuel into IonQ, but I think that's when you started getting things like Rigetti and D-Wave, and for whatever reason, quantum computing, and you know, God forbid, QuantumScape, which isn't even a quantum company, getting these kind of run-ups. So you're getting this kind of capital flee out of, you know, whatever happened after Willow, maybe going back into IonQ on this. I still don't see the play right now, especially at these levels. You have a 6.9 billion market cap for it, and you know, I mean, Jensen Huang's right. Like, it's going to be a while. We spoke about the capabilities right now, at least with, you know, D-Wave's machines. And again, this is coming from Chinese military research, so take that with a massive grain of salt. But they were only able to break, you know, what was it, 22 bits or something like that? Nothing impressive, even slightly. So, you know, if you want to be in quantum in any capacity, you know, and always do your due diligence, like definitely do that. But IonQ seems to be one, maybe IBM as well, to be quite honest, because they actually do have functional compute with quantum. But, you know, I still think IonQ is probably the best out of any of these quantum, but I still think this has ways to go. And again, I think this is money leaving these other guys, like, okay, let's flee to the one that's maybe legit. And I think it still gets smoked from here a little bit. So I'm not in IonQ. But props to people who wanted to get in it today, especially after that sell-off. But just keep in mind that the deflation, right, of that bubble or of that balloon is occurring. And, the walls close in on IonQ as its lieutenants on the side get kind of knocked out one by one. I don't know. It's unfortunate, right? Because I think that if this were a little bit more conservative, its increase, you'd probably be, you'd definitely be a little bit lower in some of these equities. And it might have been something that's like really cool for a long-term hold, maybe like 5 years or something like that. And no doubt there will be news over the next few years of quantum. I think Amazon bringing a bracket is a good example that they're trying to mobilize into that. But again, I think with Jensen Huang saying that, that put the nail in the coffin, at least for the short term. And I definitely would not add at least to things like Rigetti and definitely not Qubit at all. Man, that is some movement to the downside. Yeah, off 10.56% in Rigetti. How about that? What else was it? Oh, people in Denver are talking about this. We can't really invest in this, so it's not maybe worth talking about for too long. But yeah, you're getting that. I guess the Supreme Court is potentially going to ban TikTok if ByteDance doesn't sell it. I think you had what's that guy's name? Kevin O'Leary. He wanted to buy it. Their no spin. I don't know why Musk would buy it if he would at all. But if I were ByteDance, I definitely would not want people knowing what I'm doing with my algorithm, right? Because for whatever reason, TikTok's algorithm is phenomenal. I don't really go on TikTok at all, but I, have friends who have videos and I want to support them and everything, and I watch it. And it blows my mind how quickly it learns kind of your behavior and kind of what you want to see. Very strange, but I'm not going to spend too long on that because has no real effect in the market at all. Let's take a look right now. You get the SPY off 1.55%, trading at 580 right now. We're at 581 when this show began. You get the composite off about 1.65% at 19,158. Dow Jones Industrial off about 1.67 at 41,919. You get that Russell off 2.39%. You had the dollar, DXY up 0.67%, 109.68. Looking at the composite being down made me want to look at NVIDIA. Just quickly, that's off 3.10%. Let's take a look at Broadcom, which I think ASIC is going to become very dominant, and I think they're well positioned for that. They're not even like testing that gap at all. You're just getting a nice little floor at 280, almost off 2.38%. And let's take a look at TSMC. Now, TSM, excuse me, but it is TSMC, of course. Up 0.71%. That is so sad because its news was so good. They were up what, like 50-something%? Okay. So yeah, they reported a 39% rise in October-December revenue to $26.3 billion. Compares to an average estimate of something around like $23 billion. That is just impressive. Microsoft outlined plans to spend $80 billion fiscal year on data centers. This isn't going anywhere, I don't think. Especially with TSMC, right? Because they're developing all this kind of stuff for these people. So growth accelerated for them, capping a 34% revenue growth for 2024. Their official target was 30%. Market valuation doubling, trading at $1.1 trillion. I think these guys still stay relatively strong. And as much money was front-loaded into kind of these semiconducttors, I still think there's room for growth. We're still in the arms race, and there's no doubt that the Hopper GPUs from NVIDIA were not the end product whatsoever. That was just the beginning and kind of really this like chip renaissance we're going to have, right? And that's, I'm personally bullish on Broadcom because I think these specialized chips, right, these like specialized central processing chips are going to be huge. It's not very clear right now how all of this is going to pan out, meaning like what the chip structure is going to be. Are you going to have kind of these like massive decentralized nodes, or will things like central processing units or specialized central processing units become, which method is going to win out, right? And you'll probably just get mixed use depending on what's going on. But AVGO with these specialized chips that can run central processing, that's pretty good. I like AVGO. And, at 1 trillion, not horrible at all, especially considering NVIDIA, which I think AVGO can really beat them. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, everybody. Jacob Shoup, you're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. This is the last segment for the day and for the week. Check that out. We'll be back Monday. We're going to be back on this normal schedule. The holidays were so crazy. We were off for Christmas and New Year's Wednesdays. Of course, we had off yesterday as well. I'm taking a look at Navitas Semiconductors. These guys make essentially silicon carbide for chips, a little bit better, a little bit more energy efficient than silicon just as it is. But that's not really what I want to talk about right now. I think maybe I'll do a little dive into silicon carbide at some point. Of course, I'm pro photonics build out and kind of trying to situate my portfolio to capture any increase in that sector. But I want to take a look at Constellation Energy. Okay, so they just up 24.7%, 95 billion. Man, I remember looking at this thing. We spoke about it on the show. I think this was it must have been sometime around this year, right? Because I remember being like low 100s. And I was like, yeah, okay, it's like a $20, $30 billion stock. I think there's room for other companies to maybe get in to meet the energy demands for AI data centers. But hey, look at this, trading at 304 right now, up 24.65%, $95 billion market cap. Just bought Calpine for $16.4 billion. These guys do natural gas and geothermal. It's just interesting. The demand for our products is expected to grow by levels we haven't seen in a lifetime. This is the CEO, Joe Dominguez, said on a call. Transaction creates the largest coast-to-coast power generator. And this is what's so interesting. I've said this as well about like other things in progress as a country, right? Where it's like, well, maybe we don't do something because we still have some other problems to fix. And it is interesting how when you pursue just growth, problems of the past tend to work themselves out, right? Like our reliance on fossil fuels goes away as we increase our portfolio to include things like nuclear, geothermal. Folks, thank you so much for joining me. We'll be back Monday morning. I hope you all have a fantastic week.